A brand new trailer for the upcoming Nintendo titles Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was recently dropped, and despite only being just over a minute in length, it's got fans buzzing. Being released for the Nintendo Switch, the games made major waves during Nintendo's 2018 E3 press conference this year, when it was revealed that players could sync up their Pokémon Go app with the Switch title, and that you could get your hands on some really cool Joy-Con controllers that were, of course, in the shape of a Pokeball. Just take my money now, please. So what does this new trailer reveal? Well, we're diving into that today with our list of the top 10 things you missed in the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee trailer. Starting us off at number 10, Surf. This trailer boasts traveling with secret techniques as one of the mechanics that the game is introducing. We see the player character riding on a surfboard with her Pikachu up front, maneuvering through water filled with Pokemon. It's clearly the Surf HM at work. But it's not the only HM move to seemingly get a new take either. But in contrast to that though, the shot right after it depicts Eevee using the cut move to break through a small tree to reveal an otherwise inaccessible path. This feels more like a revamped take on the cut HM rather than a redesign of the Surf HM. Speaking of, in at number 9, Fly. The Fly HM makes use of something different as well. Balloons, along with what appears to be some sort of bike contraption attached to it that you and your Pokemon sit on. Now in the trailer, your trainer character holds onto little handles that have several balloons attached to them, with the device rising up into the air. It's questionable whether or not something like this and something like the Surf HM are actually HMs anymore. It appears that Cut, that we mentioned earlier, is most definitely a Pokemon move, but Surf and Fly, these forms of transportation don't really seem to rely on Pokemon to make them happen. What's that about? And at number 8, Pokemon are everywhere. Unlike the traditional Pokemon games where you can't see Pokemon in the wild, they find you as you traverse through tall grass or in caves or in water, these games depict wild Pokemon in the surrounding environment around you. The opening shot that we discussed earlier with our Surf number depicts exactly that. You can see a bunch of tentacles swimming around nearby as the player character and Pikachu surf their way southbound. For those of you who are major fans of the anime, this will feel just like you're navigating through the story when you take a step out into the wild, which is pretty exciting. Definitely a promising factor. Up next at 7, choose your gender. Much like the more recent Pokemon games, you can choose the gender of your player character. The design seems to be pulling notes from the original Pokemon games trainer mixed with some newer assets from the more recent games, like the Pokeball logo on the trainer's hat. In at 6, Celadon City landmarks. The trailer highlighted some parts of Celadon City, and it was a really exciting look. You'll notice several familiar Celadon landmarks, including the department store and the game corner, which has become less of a casino and more of an arcade, based off the look of the machine's controls. Otherwise, the layout of the building is still very similar, which is pretty darn cool. Speaking of, in at number 5, Team Rocket. One of the things you may have noticed about the game corner shot is that there's a familiar uniformed figure being shady up against a poster. They're wearing a big ol' red R on their chest, and they're guarding that poster. It'll be curious to see how Team Rocket missions pan out in this game and whether the games will stick to the old format that Red, Blue, and Yellow, amongst others, used with Team Rocket, or if new mechanics will be added to make navigating the Rocket missions a little less linear than usual. In our number 4 spot, Walking Pokemon. Back when Pokemon Yellow was released for the Game Boy, a new mechanic was introduced that fans of the series, both games and anime, really wanted to see: Walking Pokemon. Pikachu would follow you around and you could interact with the little guy, and he would have different reactions to things. It was super fun. This became a consistent concept in the games, also appearing in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, except you could choose what Pokemon you wanted by sticking them at the top of your roster. This also seems to be the case with the Let's Go games. While you constantly have Eevee or Pikachu following you around, often sitting on your head or your shoulder, you can also be followed around by a walking Pokemon of your choice from your roster. The trailer depicts the player character being followed by a bunch of different Pokemon, including Eradicate, a Sandshrew, an Oddish, a Jigglypuff, a Grimer, you name it. The Pokemon also seem to be of scale to an extent. You can spot several Pokemon hanging out with their trainers in the trailer, including a Poliwrath, who is bigger in size than his master. Love to see how Onix looks. And at number 3, Kanto Gym Leaders. The trailer featured you facing off against Celadon City Gym Leader Erica. But Erica isn't the only familiar face when it comes to gym leaders in the trailer. Despite the emphasis on challenging her, the next several shots after her highlight show the player character taking on other famous Kanto gym leaders, including the likes of Misty and Lieutenant Surge. There's also a battle with Onix, and we can only assume that that's likely a gym battle with Brock from Pewter City. We knew that the games would be set in the Kanto region, but this was our first glimpse of what that might actually entail. In at 2, Attacks. One interesting mechanic introduced was the Partner Power. These are special moves that Eevee and Pikachu will have in battle. While that's super cool, the brief segment that it was followed by featured another attack-based mechanic, new exclusive moves that your Pikachu or your Eevee can learn. Now, it's a tad odd, because they're moves that, other than being brand new, are outside of their type. Pikachu, an electric type, has a move called Splishy Splash that is clearly a water type move. It uses it to completely obliterate an Onix. Then we see Eevee, a normal type, who has one called Bouncy Bubble, another water type move, which it uses against a Charmeleon. It has another move called Buzzy Buzz that's an electric move that it uses against a Magikarp, and another one called Sizzly Slide, a fire type move on a Magnemite, all of which is curious. And leads us to our next number, in at 1, accessibility. This, alongside the reappropriating of HMs, makes it seem as if the games are attempting to be more accessible with what you can do with Pikachu and Eevee. But the question is, does that diminish the challenge that these games may have provided? If you don't need to get a water type Pokemon to use Surf, does that defeat some of the purpose in the necessity of catching them all? The game has been marketed as more of a casual kind of Pokemon game, especially considering it's been paired with Pokemon Go. Nintendo seems to be pushing it as more of a friendly collecting style adventure that still boasts mechanics like battling and exploring Kanto. But one of the greatest criticisms of recent Pokemon RPGs is that they feel like they've been watered down compared to the original Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and even the Silver and Gold titles. So what do you guys make of this? Do you think amping up the accessibility of the game diminishes some of the fun that comes with having more of a challenge? Let us know your thoughts in those comments below. Alright, there we have it, friends. What are your thoughts about the Let's Go games? Are you gonna buy them? And what's got you the most excited? What has you the most nervous? I'm not sure how I feel about all of those out-of-type moves, or the HMs to be honest, even though they do look cool. Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more lists, theory videos, let's plays, and much more. In the meantime, thanks for watching everybody. I'll catch you all in the next video.